afternoon, Batesies. Welcome, and thank you for being here. It is a great, great day to be a Bobcat. So I am John Gillespie, a member of the class of 1980, parent of 2 Bates alumni, chair of the Bates Board of Trustees, and a member of the Presidential Search Committee. I wear all of those hats with immense pride today as we gather as a community to welcome Garry Jenkins as our next president. Garry will become our 9th president in 168 years, if you can believe it. This is truly a historic occasion. Before we go much further, let me give you a sense of how this program will unfold. After my words, I'll turn things over to Search Committee Co-Chair Andrea Buchel for some additional remarks. Andrea will introduce President-elect Jenkins, and we will then hear from him. Following his remarks, the formal program will conclude, and we will invite you to stay and say hello to our President-elect as time allows and enjoy some refreshments together. So now, the announcement of our new president marks the opening of a new chapter in the life of the college. But it should not go unsaid that our current chapter, the one that began with a similar announcement at a similar event in late 2011, has been one of stunning achievement, innovation, and growth for Bates. All of this under the inspired leadership of President Clayton Spencer. Clayton, you have our most profound and heartfelt thanks. All of you here today, and all who have been part of this community in the past decade as students, or alumni, or faculty, or staff, you have all contributed to the flourishing of Bates, and you have all left your mark. These contributions helped make the role of leading this college into its next chapter an enormously appealing prospect to enormously talented and accomplished people. On behalf of the Search Committee, thank you for making our jobs easier. I will share that the search process was another reminder of just how special Bates is. First, in the way that the community engaged in the process from the beginning. Hundreds of faculty, staff, students, alumni, parents, community members, and friends of the college provided input on what they most wanted to see in our next president. And that feedback directly influenced the direction of the search. Second, in what we were hearing from our partners at Isaacson Miller, and then in the committee's own engagement with candidates, it was clear just how strong of a reputation Bates has in the wider world. So I am completing my time on the Board of Trustees at the end of this academic year after 20 years of service. I already knew that I'd be retiring with great optimism for what lies ahead for the college. But with the selection of President-elect Garry Jenkins, that optimism just grows stronger and stronger. To tell you a little bit more about how we arrived at this point, and to introduce our next president, let me now turn things over to one of the co-chairs of the Presidential Search Committee, Andrea Buchel. Andrea.
Boy, howdy, am I glad to be here. Thank you, John, and good afternoon, everyone. As John said, I'm Andrea Buchel, class of 1990, a member of the Board of Trustees, chair of its Academic Affairs Committee, and one of the co-chairs of the Presidential Search Committee. My fellow co-chair, Greg Arrett, who is from the class of 1991, and a fellow trustee, was unable to be here but sends his greetings. Greg and I could not be prouder to have contributed to this search, but it was the work of many that brought us to this day, namely the 17 other members of the Presidential Search Committee and our outstanding staff colleagues who managed the search process. A number of out-of-state members of the committee could not be with us today, but if you're here, please stand and raise your hand as I call out your name so that we can all thank you together. John Boffman. Stay standing, John. Jerry Fitzgerald, Aiden, Gideon Hope. I'm just going to read the names so you guys can all clap at once. John Gillespie, Faith Hauger, Evelyn Hammonds, David Longden, Allie Manning, Lance Mathieson, Charles Nero, Katie Ott, Stacy Rizza, Michelle Rosenberg, Christine Schwartz, the architect of this afternoon, Annalisa Hansen-Shrout, Daryl Uwe, Jean Wilson, and I also want to recognize Mike Huzzy and Jen Blanchard for their outstanding contributions and for making the work of the committee possible. Please join me in the In addition, we had fantastic partners in our search from Isaacson Miller, led by partner Kate Berry, working with Karen McFedrin and Miguel Santiago, who helped promote the opportunity to the world and develop a very compelling pool of candidates. This committee worked amazingly well together over the course of 5 months, as well or better than any I've experienced, frankly. Every single one of our committee members did an outstanding job of representing Bates in all its many dimensions. And in the end, we reached consensus. Unanimous, authentic, thrilling consensus that my co-chair Greg called our goosebump moment. Consensus about who the right person was to become Bates's next president. Now, of course, that person made our consensus easy, so let's meet him. You've read about him already, so you know that he is a champion of the liberal arts and a liberal arts graduate himself, Haverford College, class of 1992. He also earned a master's in public policy from Harvard's Kennedy School and a JD from Harvard Law School. You may have heard of it. He's a nationally respected legal scholar and proven higher education leader. He's a teacher and a mentor. Since 2016, he has served as dean of the University of Minnesota Law School, where he's distinguished himself with advances in every realm: the academic, the programmatic, the diversity, equity, inclusion focused, the financial, the community engaged, and the list goes on and on. He served on the board of his alma mater, Haverford, since 2009 and as its vice chair since 2015. He has experience in both faculty affairs and in helping run a major foundation focused on education. But what you can't know yet, but the search committee quickly learned, is that he just gets Bates. He sees where we are and where we have the potential to go. He's excited and ambitious for all that lies ahead. And somehow, he already loved this place from our very first moments with him, having never set foot on the campus, mind you. And that love has just radiated throughout our every moment with him. But of course, I want to give you a chance to experience that for yourself. You didn't come to hear me. I know why you're here. So friends, it is my absolute honor to introduce to you Bates's 9th president, Garry Jenkins.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, John, for that lovely introduction. Thank you all for that warm introduction. I am so appreciative. What a remarkable day for me, for my family, for Bates. I have to say, sometimes dreams come true. By way of formal introduction, I'm Garry Jenkins. My pronouns are he, him, and I just want to say I'm absolutely overjoyed and truly honored to be the 9th president of Bates College. If you all will indulge me, I want to start with just some words of thanks. First, I want to thank all the staff behind the scenes who make an event like this possible and ensure that it runs smoothly. Thank you. You are so appreciated. Second, I am so deeply grateful to the Board of Trustees and the Presidential Search Committee, especially the co-chairs, Andrea and Greg, and our board chair, John, for the confidence that they've placed in me and for the opportunity to work with this remarkable community to take Bates into the future. Thanks too to everyone who engaged in this process, whether you attended a listening session or you wrote a comment about what you wanted most out of the next president or submitted a nomination. I just have to tell you how impressive I found the search committee's hard work, their enthusiasm, their devotion to the college, their ability to reflect so many aspects of this community in such clear and compelling and ultimately inspiring ways. I also want to thank President Clayton Spencer for her judgment, her wisdom, her tireless leadership of the college. As you all heard or read, I've been on the board of my alma mater, another liberal arts college, for 14 years. And because of that, I've kept an eye on what was happening with the peer liberal arts colleges. And I've watched with great admiration Bates's great strides under her leadership. It will be an honor and a privilege to follow her, to receive the baton, and to build on the tremendous progress she and all of you have made. It's an amazing legacy. Let's give her another round of applause. She may be looking forward to a well-earned retirement, but she may regret that she gave me her mobile number, because I'm going to be using it. And personally, I just want to say hello to my family, my friends, mentors, and colleagues who are watching online. There are too many of them to name, but I do want to give a special shout out to my parents, Garry and Leslie Jenkins. They're watching in New Jersey, and also to my brother Chris and his family in Buffalo, who will surely enjoy visiting Maine during the kids' school breaks. I'd also like to thank and introduce my husband, Professor John Lee. John, will you stand up? He is a remarkably talented, dedicated teacher-scholar. He teaches law with a focus on ethics and intellectual property. And to be honest, you will all soon come to realize that the best thing about my becoming president is that it means John will be a part of the Bates community. John and I are looking forward to getting to know you all on a personal level and making Lewiston our home. So, by way of background, I was born and raised in northern New Jersey. My parents were both the first in their families to graduate from college. My mom became a high school teacher. My dad was a computer programmer and a part-time community college instructor. And from them, I developed a strong belief in higher education and ultimately a passion for the ways that it ignites human potential. As Andrea mentioned, I studied at Haverford, Harvard Kennedy School, Harvard Law School, and after working in law, business, philanthropy, I've been on the faculty of two prominent law schools, Ohio State and the University of Minnesota, for nearly 20 years. And for the last 7, I've been dean at Minnesota Law. I've sat on boards in higher education and social justice and the arts. As a result, I bring lessons from institutions large and small, public and private, from the liberal arts and professional schools, and from the corporate and nonprofit sectors. Yet, it is my own residential, small liberal arts college education and experience that was transformative. That is still my touchstone. It shaped my life in ways that I'm not sure anything else would have had the capacity to do. The rigor, the versatility, and exposure to a range of disciplines and modes of thinking, the joy of learning and discovery, the personalized attention from an astounding faculty, the emphasis on social responsibility, the relationships with staff who mentored me, who helped me believe that I belonged and that my presence, my story, my leadership could make a difference. The lifelong friendships with classmates, the sense that with a life-changing education and experience, that anything is within reach. And what happened to me at Haverford and what I know happens at Bates is magical, it's special, it's inspiring. So to the students in this audience and online, and perhaps even some prospective students who may be watching, this is the transformative experience that I wish for you. Thanks to what I learned, how I learned it, and the people I learned from and with, I've been an ardent advocate and supporter of liberal arts institutions, and I believe that the liberal arts matter now more than ever. So it's for all those reasons that I found this opportunity really compelling. Of course, I knew that Bates was one of the nation's leading liberal arts colleges, one of the brightest jewels in the crown that is undergraduate education in the US. I had childhood friends who became Batesies. In fact, my friend Rebecca last week on LinkedIn or Facebook, I can't remember which one, declared me an honorary member of her class, the class of '93. But I also had the privilege to teach Bates graduates throughout my career. So from these experiences and encounters, I see the Bates people that I've known and taught, not just noted for their intelligence, but intelligence coupled with a capacity to think expansively, to creatively imagine new ways of solving old problems, to engage in the world with passion, humility, and empathy, and with a genuine commitment to leadership and service to better the world. But throughout the process, I was drawn to Bates's distinctive history, open from the beginning to all people, not just the white men who were the traditional college students at the time of Bates' founding in 1855. Accordingly, not just a place waking up to newly discover diversity, equity, and inclusion like some. Yet at the same time, of course, also not a perfect place, nor a place resting on its laurels. Rather, Bates seems to me to be a place that's fully aware that there is more work to be done. In fact, plenty of work, but without struggle, without work, there is no progress. And I see that work happening. It's happening here. And I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of pushing it forward by all of us working together. Now, all this is to say, I was lured in by the passion and creativity of the students, the faculty, the staff of today, and hooked by the college's articulation of and commitment to the emancipatory power of the liberal arts for a rapidly unfolding future. More specifically, I was captivated by a community of dedicated faculty, staff, and students with a culture that's grounded in care for one another, in inclusion and belonging, in civic responsibility, in sustainability and egalitarianism. I was captivated by the vibrancy of the education, led by a distinguished faculty fully committed to undergraduate education that embraces teaching, learning, research, and service. I was attracted to the spirit of innovation that I see reflected in signature work, in community-engaged learning, in the development of path-breaking, inclusive pedagogies, notably in the sciences, but also across the humanities and social sciences as well. The innovation in setting up students for lives of meaning and contribution through the Center for Purposeful Work, and in many other places. I was compelled by the way the college's scale, its campus, its location, offer up unique opportunities to learn and reflect, and also to develop and foster deep and powerful relationships. Students with one another, students with faculty, coaches, staff, and local residents, and also among and between Bates's loyal and dedicated alumni, forging really important connections. And finally, I was captivated by the college's capacity to contribute to the greater good, both for itself, meaning our internal community, but also for the broader world. And that's characterized by illuminating issues, by the way we create common ground. We use data to clarify and enlighten, how we center human dignity. You know, I studied law, I became a lawyer, because I believe in justice. I believe in the possibility of making a difference to people, organizations, and communities. And I became an educator out of a passion for preparing students to think critically and holistically, to engage productively with diverse viewpoints, to problem solve, and to lead across sectors and professions. And those principles, they still animate my life and my work, and I think that they animate Bates too. When it comes to the future, I'm looking forward with great excitement to getting started this summer, not just because it will be our first summer in Maine, or that I love lobster and blueberries, but because it'll be a new beginning. I'm looking forward to immersing myself in the community and attending all kinds of events. To be honest, after going down a Bates rabbit hole on Instagram for these past few months, John and I are ready for the lectures, the concerts, the performances, the art shows, the Mount David Summit, where we celebrate academic accomplishments of our students. I'm looking forward to cheering on the Bobcats at games, including right here in the historic Alumni Gym. Yeah, we can clap for that. Now, I won't play with you all, but you wouldn't want that. But I do hope to play tennis or squash or even pickleball with some of you. Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. I'm looking forward to speaking with students, faculty, staff, board members, alumni, friends, to develop a sense of your aspirations. And any vision moving forward will be a shared vision. I'm looking forward to discovering all sorts of extraordinary people and projects that are making a meaningful impact on the Bates community and beyond. And I'm looking forward to telling the Bates story far and wide to help us advance and to help us advance higher education. I'm looking forward to the work that lies ahead, listening with intention and care, learning from others, learning with you. I'm looking forward to calling Lewiston home and embracing important engagement between the college and the city with the potential to further strengthen our ties and relationship. And I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun with all of you. This is what makes the prospect of leading Bates so exciting. But leadership isn't about me. It's about all of us. And there's no challenge that we can't embrace together. Thank you so much for giving me this extraordinary opportunity to join the Bates community. Thank you for welcoming John and me so warmly today. We cannot wait to join you all this summer. Onward and upward, it's a great day to be a Bobcat. Thank you.